I don't know if this is the best animation drawing in the world, but we're gonna bring this to life. Hey guys, so this video is a full tutorial within a free Spotlight mini course on how to create and design video content for your brand. Go to ParEdits.com/createvideo or click the link in the description to check out the course outline. All right guys, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing we want to do is imagine how we're going to animate the logo. The best way that I do that is to draw it out. So I want to use my logo as our example because it needs an upgrade. And by now you've actually already seen the upgrade in the intro that just happened. And so we're going to create that, which is kind of cool. So this is kind of what I'm thinking, like if you can see that. So basically, the more bold the letter is, the more like visible it is. With the dotted lines, that represents like it's fading in. So the letters are gonna like cascade down on the par side, and on the edit side, it's gonna cascade up. And they're gonna line up with the main red line here. And then like they're also gonna fade in at the same time. So it's like cascading and fading and like moving into place to like line up, like, you know, with the green lines here for like the regular logo. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna bring this to life, and hopefully we can accomplish that. All right, so next what we want to do is separate our logo into pieces. So because I have letters in my logo, I can separate each letter out. I want to be able to take each individual letter and then move them, you know, by themselves instead of having it all attached in, you know, as we're looking at here with my full logo. To do that, to separate the letters, like you can do that either in Photoshop or Illustrator, which I already did. I already did it in Illustrator just because it's just quicker that way for me, because that's how I built my logo. Each letter was an individual asset and I just exported each asset. If you don't have Photoshop or Illustrator, you can use an app called Pixlr, which I'll show you right now. Let me open it up. Okay, so if you go to pixlr.com/editor, you'll find yourself looking at something that looks similar to Photoshop. So first I'm gonna open an image from my computer. I'll just take my logo, and then it'll open it up in like this little window. So to cut out the letters, you just have to take this lasso tool, or you can press L, and then you can just click and drag around the letters. It's kind of hard to see from my point of view, but I can zoom in. So I just outlined the P. So now I'm gonna use Control or Command and press C to copy it. And then I'm gonna go to File, New Image, and then forget the name, forget the preset, because we're just gonna do 1000 by 1000, and then we'll hit Transparent, and then we'll click OK. And then we're gonna do Command or Control V, and then it'll paste it right in the center. And then you'll go ahead and hit File, Save. Make sure you save it as a PNG to keep that transparent background. You can name it, and then just save each individual letter just like that. All right, next we're gonna import files into After Effects. So I already have After Effects open, so I'll go ahead and click on that, and then we're gonna hit New Project. And then once we hit New Project, it's already a new project. So let's go ahead and right click inside of the project panel, go to Import, and then go to Multiple Files. And then here are my assets. So I'll select all of these, hold Shift, and import all of them into, oh, I can hit done. All right, so all of them are in After Effects now, which is awesome. So now I'm just gonna organize them real quick. So I'll create a folder, call this Assets, and then I can drag all of them inside of my Assets folder. And now we're ready to create a composition and really get started into animating. All right, so let's go ahead and create a composition now. And import our actual logo into After Effects. So first we're going to create that composition. So we're gonna call this, ParEdits logo animation. And then we're going to keep it at 1920 by 1080, 60 frames per second, and then the duration is about 10 seconds. So we want all these settings, make sure yours match this. Because it's the best. Even if you export your videos in 24 frames per second, having an animation in 60 frames per second is always great to have. And it looks better that way too. So I'm gonna hit OK. and that starts the composition. And right now it's showing me a transparent screen because I have this little icon on. I like to toggle that on and off to see, if it's going to be transparent or not. And then now let's go ahead and import our full logo. So I'm going to import file. Let's go back and then grab the, let's do the white logo. So I'll import that. Okay, so next we're going to put our full logo into the composition. So we're just going to drag the logo and put it into the timeline right here. So I just dropped it in and now the logo's in there, but it's way too big. So to scale it down, I'm gonna hit S on the keyboard for the shortcut, and then I'm gonna take this 100% and just drag it down and make it so it fits, in the screen where I want it to end up. Okay, so I just put it down to 34%. Okay, now I want to line up every individual letter with this logo, like as an outline. And the reason why I wanna do that is because I want the animation that I do to end up completing the logo and looking great. So I don't need the one logo file, but I do need all of my assets to be lined up to look like the one logo. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and drag the P white in there, and I'm gonna drag it on top of the main full logo. And so it goes in there. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm gonna turn off the transparency grid here. And now I can see the letters a little better. And then I'm gonna hold Alt and scroll with my mouse wheel to zoom in and just kind of see how I'm sizing it. And if I just drag these corners, it's kind of free form and I don't want that. So in order to keep it constrained, I'll hold Shift so it stays, the same proportions it needs to be. And I'm gonna drag it until it's as big as the E, because I know that my P and the E are the same size. Now I'm gonna hold spacebar because it brings up the hand and just click and drag my view towards the P, and then let's go ahead and click on the P here. So I'm clicking and holding, and then I'm holding Shift at the same time, and I'm gonna drag it to the side. And I hold Shift so that if I move up and down, it only goes left and right. And it only goes left and right because I started moving left and right while holding Shift. It can work the same way if I start going up and down, then it won't go left and right, it'll go up and down. So if I just let go, I click and hold Shift and go up. Now, oh, okay. That's actually good to know. So it's actually on a grid. So it's just really smart, and it does everything you need it to if you hold Shift. So I'm gonna drag it all the way to the P and just kind of line it up on the edges, zoom in more, click and hold Shift, and line it up here. It's not super high quality, but that's okay. All right, I think that's good enough. So that's the P. So I did the P, and now I'm gonna do the rest of them real quick. Okay, so now that I've lined up every single letter, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the big logo. And it looks like I did a pretty good job. You can tell a little bit of the difference, but it's not too bad. All right, so now to start animating, I'm going to go ahead and select all of the letters and the red line, and I'm gonna hit the P key to bring up position because that's what I wanna adjust most. So first we're going to keyframe every single one because I'm at the very first frame in my animation. So I'm gonna keyframe every single layer, and I'm gonna take each one of those keyframes by highlighting, just like I did there, and I'm gonna drag these keyframes all the way just down here because I want to preserve those keyframes because that's where my letters need to end up. So I'm going to preserve those keyframes, leave them to the side, and then now I'm going to create where these keyframes are going to animate from. So to start, I'm going to take the P and I'm going to, actually I'm going to start with the R, and I'm going to choose where I want the R to come down from. So I'm going to raise it up. So let's raise it up there. I'll do the A also, raise that up, and then I'll do the P. And so now I'm gonna do the same for edits. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so now that I did it for edits, I'm noticing, I'm imagining that I actually want the E to slide up the red line. So I want it to, do like a little animation movement to go up the red line. And so I can do that using the X and Y coordinates. So I'm going to adjust the X where the E is also. So let's go ahead and change the X and scoot it up to the red line. Just kind of put it right there. Cool. Okay, so now if I go over time Yeah, see, it goes up the red line. Look at that. We already kind of created an interesting looking animation here. Okay, so although the red line isn't moving, so actually let's go ahead and delete that keyframe for the red line. All right, and then I'm also going to right click on this label and then make it red. Okay, now I want to make the animation go quicker, because right now if I play it, it's really slow because I moved all those other keyframes down to the end. So I also want to make sure that letters land when they need to land. So I want the S to land before the T, to land before the I, before the D. I don't want them all to land at the same exact time. I want them to kind of like file into place, and same with the PAR. So let's take the end keyframe of R and let's animate that first. So we're just focusing on R. So I think I want to do, we'll just do like half a second. Maybe quicker. So we'll do, let's see, I'm looking over here. Let's do like, we'll do 15 frames, which is 1/4 of a second. And then I can drag this keyframe and I can hold shift and then it'll click right onto the playhead, which is pretty cool. So if we hit play, R moves in about half a second. And then, so I want that to happen first. And then let's do another 15 seconds or 15 frames. So I'll go to the 30th frame. I'll bring the A down, hold shift. And then let's go to the 45th frame. And then I'll drag the P down. So how does that look? Okay, that's kind of interesting. I think I want it a little bit faster. So maybe I'll do like the 10th frame, the 20th frame, and the 30th frame. So let's do 10, hold shift, click and drag that on there. Let's go to 20, hold shift, snap that there. Let's go to 30. Hold shift, snap that there. See how that looks. Okay, that's pretty interesting. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same for edits. Okay, so now that I've done it for edits, let's kind of see how this looks. Oh, okay, I think what we're looking at is some time gaps. So I have a 30 frame time gap between the P. So I think I want a 30 frame time gap between the E also. So if this is at frame 120, then I'll probably want frame 50. And we'll drag that there. So I'm thinking a 30 frame time gap for E, a 25 frame time gap for D, 20 for I, 15 for T, and 10 for S. So let's go to S. So S is right here, and we're at 40. So let's go to 30. So we'll go to 30. Let's drag this here. This one for T is at 50. And so I want that to be a 15 frame time gap, so that should be at 35. Put that there. So I just did some interesting math just to kind of create an animation that I think might look good. So let's play that. So now I want par and edits to kind of happen like together. So I'm gonna play par, edits. It seems like there's like a pause. So I'm gonna select all these keyframes and let's see where the R or the P ends. So I think I want to start it when the A ends, and that is at frame 20. So let's drag this down to frame 20. All right, so let's play. Maybe we should start it right at the beginning. Let's try that. How does this look? Yeah, I think I like that better. Okay, so I think I have the animation that I want. It looks like the screen is kind of shifted. Down here it says 50%. I'm just gonna set that to fit so it goes right in the center. So now I wanna use ease in and ease out. Basically the best way to describe ease in and ease out is with these keyframes, right now they're just going from one point to the other and then just immediately stopping. So instead of it going like start and then like right when it starts, it goes the same speed and stops. Ease in is great because it will start fast and then slow down. Just like that. So it'll go like, and then slow down where it needs to be. And then ease out is the opposite. So let's go ahead and make that happen. So I'm going to ease out on every single keyframe that is outgoing. So when the keyframes start, I want to right click, go to Keyframe Assistant, and then select Easy Ease Out. And then I'm gonna select all the ones on the outside. Boom, boom, scroll down, click, click, click. right click, keyframe assistant, ease in. All right, so let's see how that looks. I think I also want the E to start earlier. And then I also want it to end later. Okay, so the main reason why I'm making these creative decisions right now is because I'm thinking about, as the E is going up the line, I want to add a cool little flare effect to it. And so it's kind of like fizzling and like grinding up against the red line. And so I want to create that, and you've actually already seen it, so you might know what I'm talking about. It's just kind of difficult for me to describe. So now that I have my letters animating like they are, I want them to start fading in too. So let's go ahead and I'm going to select all the letters, and I'm going to press P so that hides the position, and I'm going to press T to bring up opacity because I want them to start fading on. So now I want to set keyframes for opacity at the beginning of every single layer. Except for the red line, because I just want that to stay. And so now I'm going to click and drag all those keyframes that I just created. I'm going to click and drag, pull this out, preserve the 100%, and then we're going to start with all of them at 0. Okay, so notice that I had everything selected. I adjusted one percentage keyframe. I just adjusted one layer, and it affected everything at once, which is pretty great. So everything starts at 0, but I want them to appear when they need to appear. And to see the timing of that, I'm going to close opacity by pressing T, and then I'm going to press U, which shows up every single modifier that you have on each layer that has existing keyframes. So if I hit U, then each one shows me position and opacity, the two that I created keyframes for. So let's look at R. So for R, it moves the fastest. So let's put it at 100% right when it arrives there. So what's this look like? Okay. So I'm actually gonna do that for everything else. So I'm gonna bring everything to 100% when they finish moving. So how does that look? You know, it's kind of interesting because I'm deciding, you know, the final product right now, and you guys have already seen it, and I haven't in this moment. So I'm trying to create it, and just because I'm messing with the opacity. I don't want everything to fade on from the same point. I think I want them to be gradually longer. So if R is 10 frames, maybe A can be 15 frames, or the 15 frame gap. So I'll go to 5, scoot that up, and then P will be a 20 frame gap. So what's this at? 30? So I'll go to frame 10, put the opacity there. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's better, okay. So it's interesting, like how I'm, you know, finding out what I like, but it's working. So now I'm going to do the same for edits. Okay, so I've messed around a little bit. I'm going to scoot the keyframes for edits down let's do about 5 frames. So all of them, all that animation. So how does that look? Okay, cool. So now the E is moving up a little slower, and then I can go ahead and delete all these opacity keyframes. Boom, boom, boom. And right now, the keyframes seem, you know, kind of sporadic a little bit, but I think you guys have been able to follow along. And then I want that E to skid up against the red. All right, so we created our composition, we animated a logo, and we used ease in and ease out to do that. And we created a simple little logo animation. And I'm ready to take it to the next level. So let's go ahead and do that. I hope you guys learned something here, as I had a lot of fun teaching it. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe to get more tutorials just like this one. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments down below, and I'll definitely get back to you. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, to learn more about how to create and design video content for your brand, check out the free Spotlight mini course right now at ParEdits.com/createvideo, or you can click the link in the description down below.